This story is a bit different. It was actually sent to us by a viewer, and it's a chilling firsthand account of something that happened just last year. It's a story that really gets you thinking about a single impulsive decision, a single act of disrespect, and the absolutely terrifying consequences that can follow. Okay, so let's dive right in. Before we can even begin to unpack what happened, you have to understand the entity at the very heart of this story, the Brahma Rakshas. Now, according to the folklore, this isn't your average ghost. We're talking about the spirit of a highly intelligent scholar, someone with immense knowledge, which gives it incredible power. But here's the kicker. They're also known to be extremely vengeful. Once you've crossed one, escape is said to be, well, pretty much impossible. All right, our story starts in the city of Sitamarhi, in Bihar, India. The year is 2023. We have two teenage cousins, totally stressed out from studying, who decide to just get away for a bit. It was a simple plan, something they had probably done 100 times before. But this trip was going to be tragically different. So let's meet our two guys, Roshan and Nishant. They're both 18, cousins, and they're right on the brink of their huge Class 12 exams. Now, Roshan, he's the impulsive one, the skeptic, who probably rolls his eyes at superstition. But Nishant, the one who sent us the story, he's a bit more cautious, maybe a little more attuned in to the local legends and the warnings people talk about. The idea itself was so simple, so harmless, just a quick bike ride to their ancestral village, only about 30 kilometers away. The plan? Meet some friends. Nishant was going to cook his famous chicken dinner. They'd chill for one night and then head straight back to get back to studying. You know, a perfect little break from the exam pressure. And right here, this is where we get the first of several little warnings. As they were about to leave, Nishant's mom gives them some pretty standard motherly advice. Hey, just stay for one night. Don't forget, your exams are right around the corner. And they promised they would. Just one night. So that evening, they have a great time. The dinner is a hit. But then things take a little bit of a strange turn. Their friends, who were all set to stay over, suddenly say they have to go. And their reason? It was Amavasya, the new moon night. In many parts of India, that's considered a really inauspicious time, a night when the veil between worlds is thin. Roshan and Nishant kind of just laughed it off, but their friends were dead serious, and they left. So picture this. Now they're all alone in this quiet village house. The party's over, it's getting late, and this thought pops into their heads. You know, the plan was to leave tomorrow, but our friends are gone, it's nice and cool outside. Why wait? It was just one of those impulsive, in-the-moment decisions that would end up changing absolutely everything. And so their journey home started in total darkness. And in that darkness, a simple wrong turn would lead them down a path that every single person in the village knew you were supposed to avoid. A path with a seriously dark history. See, there were two ways to get back. You had the main road, the normal, safe route, and then there was this dirt track, a shortcut that cut right through the jungle. In the pitch black, Nishant, who was driving the bike, accidentally veered onto that shortcut. Roshan pointed it out, but then just shrugged it off, saying, we're already here, might as well just keep going. Now, this path wasn't just spooky, it was forbidden, and for one very specific reason, a dried-up old banyan tree. The legend goes that decades ago, the villagers used to worship this tree, not out of love, but out of pure fear of the powerful spirit that lived in it. The spirit had given them a deal, an ultimatum really. Worship me and you're protected, but if you ever stop, do not even think about coming near me. Well, at some point the villagers stopped, and they had kept their distance ever since. What happens next is it's a perfect storm of bad choices. So check this out. They're already on the wrong road. Then a cat darts across their path, a classic bad omen pretty much, everywhere. As they get closer to the infamous tree, the rough dirt path forces their bike to slow way down. And in that exact moment, Roshan, the skeptic, decides to make a statement. He scoffs at all the superstitions and spits directly at the base of that cursed tree. Nishant is absolutely horrified. I mean, can you imagine? He just can't believe what Roshan has done. After all the signs, his mom's warning, the Amavasya night, taking the forbidden path, the black cat, this just felt like the ultimate act of disrespect. It felt like he was practically begging for something terrible to happen. So, a line has been crossed, the disrespect has been shown, and what happens next isn't some slow burn, creepy suspense. Oh no, the response is immediate and it is absolutely terrifying. They've barely gone another 20 feet past the tree when their motorcycle gives this violent jerk and the engine just cuts out completely. Suddenly, they are stranded, dead quiet, in the middle of a dark jungle on a path that nobody ever uses. So they're desperately trying to kickstart the bike, trying to get it to turn over, when a shout just rips through the silence. Nishant says it was an inhumanly loud "hey" that seemed to come from right behind them, from the direction of the tree, echoing everywhere. Roshan, still trying to play it cool, yells back, "Who's there?"
And then, out of the total darkness, they see a figure. It's walking towards them. It looks like a man, but he is impossibly tall. Nishant says maybe 7 feet. And he's dressed completely in white, a white shawl and a white lungi, so bright that he's somehow perfectly visible even in the pitch black night. The sight is so deeply unsettling that even Roshan, Mr. Skeptic himself, is hit with a wave of pure terror.
As this towering figure gets closer and closer, something else happens, something really strange. The air gets thick with this overwhelmingly powerful, sweet smell. Nishant described it as the smell of thousands upon thousands of incense sticks, all burning at the same time.
The figure stops right in front of them. It leans in close, and in the local dialect, with this bone-chilling calm, it asks one single question that freezes their blood. Who spat? Before either of them can even think of an answer, the entity moves. In a flash, it grabs Roshan by the throat with just one hand and lifts him clean off the ground like he weighed absolutely nothing. The very last thing Nishant saw before he blacked out from sheer terror was his cousin, dangling in the air, struggling for breath in the grip of this impossible being. When Nishant wakes up, he's in a hospital bed. A villager had found him and his cousin on the road the next morning. But that horrifying encounter in the jungle, that was just the beginning of the real nightmare. Nishant physically is fine. He's just shaken up. But Roshan is not the same person who left home the day before. He's in a state of what the doctors call violent psychosis. He's screaming uncontrollably, but not at anyone else. He's screaming at himself, over and over, cursing himself for what he did at that tree. The local hospital in Sinamar, he can't handle him, so they advise the family to move him to a bigger, specialized hospital in Delhi, but nothing works. No medical treatment has any effect. His physical and mental health just goes into a terrifying freefall. Exactly 1 month after that night in the jungle, Roshan died. He was only 18 years old. And that final month was a living hell. Nishant says his cousin spent his last days in a state of pure, unimaginable torment. He never stopped screaming. He was constantly pulling out his own hair, beating his head against the walls, and just obsessively cursing himself. He refused all food, all water, right until the very end. Nothing, not doctors, not priests, not healers, could reach him. It was only after Roshan had passed away that a completely devastated Nishant finally told his family the full story of what really happened on that forbidden path. They were left with this unbearable regret and a question. Was this all just a tragic coincidence, a sudden mental breakdown triggered by fear and superstition? Or was it proof that some ancient warnings, some local beliefs are there for a reason, and that the price for disrespect can be absolute?